From dried fish to global dominance. The ultimate pivot. Look around you. There's a massive chance that the screen you're watching this on, the memory chips inside your computer, or the appliances in your kitchen were made by one unstoppable titan, Samsung. They are a $300 billion global juggernaut. But what if I told you that the company responsible for the cutting edge of modern technology didn't start with engineers or computers? It started in 1938 with noodles and a pile of dried fish. Chapter 1. The 40-Employee Noodle Shop. The year was 1938. Korea was under Japanese rule, and a 28-year-old entrepreneur named Lee Byung-chul decided to start a modest trading company in the city of Daegu. He called it Samsung Sangho. In Korean, Samsung means 3 stars, a name Lee chose because he wanted his company to become big, strong, and eternal. But they weren't shipping electronics. With just 40 employees, Samsung's entire business was exporting locally grown groceries, noodles, and dried fish to China and Manchuria. And Lee was a brilliant operator. By 1947, the business was booming so much that he moved his headquarters to Seoul. But the universe has a funny way of testing entrepreneurs. When the Korean War broke out, Lee lost almost everything. Forced to flee, he didn't give up. He rebuilt in Busan, pivoting into sugar refining and later opening Korea's largest woolen mill. Lee was proving a vital business lesson. True entrepreneurs don't marry a single product. They adapt to what the market needs. Chapter 2. The Electric Pivot. For 3 decades, Samsung sold food, clothes, and life insurance. But in 1969, Lee saw a new frontier: electronics. On January 13th, Samsung Electronics was born. Their very first electronic product? A simple black-and-white television in 1970. By tearing apart competitor products and re-engineering them, Samsung mastered mass production. By 1978, that little dried fish company had produced over 4 million TVs and opened its first overseas office in the United States. They expanded into refrigerators, washing machines, and microwaves. But there was a massive problem looming on the horizon. Chapter 3. The Billion-Dollar Bonfire. By the late 80s and early 90s, founder Lee Byung-chul had passed away, leaving his son Kun-hee in charge. Samsung had entered the mobile phone market in 1988 with the SH100, but globally, Samsung was considered a joke. Their products were viewed as cheap, low-quality knockoffs. In 1993, Lee Kun-hee snapped. He went on a global tour, saw his TVs collecting dust in the back corners of electronics stores, and issued his famous New Management Decree. He told his executives, "Change everything except your wife and kids." Quality was now the only thing that mattered. To prove he was dead serious, Lee did the unthinkable. In 1995, after discovering a batch of defective mobile phones, he gathered 2,000 employees in a factory courtyard. He piled up 150,000 phones and fax machines worth tens of millions of dollars, smashed them to pieces with hammers, and set the entire pile on fire. That bonfire was the turning point. It burned away the cheap reputation and forged the premium, relentless tech giant we know today. Conclusion: the business lesson. From a $25 dried fish stand to becoming the world's top memory chip maker by 1992, and eventually the largest smartphone manufacturer on Earth. So, what's the lesson for us here at Business Origins Studio? The Samsung story proves that your starting point doesn't dictate your destination. Lee Byung-chul didn't wait to invent the microchip to start his business. He started by selling noodles to his neighbors. He built capital, stayed incredibly adaptable, and when the time was right, he pivoted. Start with what you have.
master the market, and never be afraid to burn down your own flaws to build something better. If you loved this origin story, you have to see how Blockbuster laughed at a $50 million deal that ended up destroying their entire empire. Click the video on screen now to watch that, and make sure to subscribe for more business origins.